Robert Wadlow, known as the Alton Giant and also as the Gentle Giant, was the tallest man ever recorded in history, standing at an astonishing height of 8 feet, 11.1 inches. Wadlow's extraordinary stature was due to a medical condition called hyperplasia of the pituitary gland, which caused him to produce excessive amounts of growth hormone. Despite the challenges associated with his height, Robert Wadlow remains an enduring symbol of resilience, kindness, and humanity. Let's talk about his early life. Robert Pershing Wadlow was born on February 22, 1918 in Alton, Illinois, a small city near St. Louis, Missouri. He was the first of 5 children born to Harold Franklin Wadlow and Addie Mae Johnson. At birth, Robert weighed a normal 8.7 pounds. However, his rapid growth became apparent within his first few months of life. By the time he was 6 months old, he weighed 30 pounds. And at just 18 months, he weighed 67 pounds and stood at 3 feet 6 inches. Wow, that was when he was 18 months old! Robert's unusual growth was a result of hyperplasia of the pituitary gland, a condition that led his body to produce excessive growth hormone. This condition was not fully understood at the time, and Robert continued to grow at an unprecedented rate throughout his childhood. By the time he was 8 years old, he was already taller than his father, standing at 6 feet. Once again, he was 6 feet tall when he was 8 years old. Wow.
I'm Robert Wadlow, 7 feet tall, 12 years old, and I weigh 240 pounds. These boys grouped around me are they're in the same grade as I am, and they're about the same age. When I grow up, I hope to be a big man like Glenn if I can get a plane big enough. By the way, size of my shoes are 25.
As Robert entered his teenage years, his rapid growth continued. He required custom-made clothing and shoes, which his family often struggled to afford due to the sheer volume of fabric and material required. His shoes alone, size 37AA, were costly and had to be specially made, each pair costing around $100 at the time, a significant expense during the Great Depression. That would be the equivalent of about $2,300 in 2024. That's a lot to spend on shoes. Despite his unusual height and the physical challenges that came with it, Robert was determined to lead as normal a life as possible. He attended Alton High School, where he was a popular student known for his quiet demeanor, gentle nature, and academic achievements. Robert was active in the Boy Scouts and set a record by becoming the tallest Boy Scout in history. You know what's amazing? Think of all the teenagers today that bitch and moan about how depressed they are, about this and that and everything else. And here's this guy, in the 1930s, dealing with this absolute nightmare, and yet he was gentle and smart and kind and decent to everybody. What a great example. By the age of 17, Robert had surpassed 8 feet, making him the tallest teenager ever recorded. His height continued to draw public attention, and he soon began receiving offers to appear at public events. He joined the Ringling Brothers Circus for a short time, not as a sideshow act, but as a paid attraction. Robert always maintained his dignity, insisting on being presented as a guest rather than a freak show exhibit. While Robert's height brought him fame, it also presented significant health challenges. His enormous size put great strain on his body, particularly his legs and feet. Robert had difficulty walking and required leg braces to help support his weight. Imagine what those must have cost. Despite these challenges, he refused to use a wheelchair, determined to walk on his own as much as possible. Everyday tasks were difficult for Robert. Doorways, ceilings, and furniture were often too small for him, requiring constant adaptation. His incredible height also caused circulation issues and numbness in his legs, which made mobility even more challenging. However, Robert's spirit remained unbroken. His family and friends described him as cheerful, optimistic, and incredibly kind-hearted. He was known for his gentle nature and never displayed anger or frustration about his condition. I wonder how many people today could handle it as gracefully as he did.
Back up, Mark. Just let it go, please. The must come up and see me sometime. You must come up and see me sometime. You must come up and see me sometime. You must come up and see me sometime. Get around here, boss. Getting up around.
Mob him up, huh?
In 1936, Robert began working with the International Shoe Company, which sponsored a nationwide tour for him to promote their shoes. This job allowed Robert to travel across the United States, meeting thousands of people who were fascinated by his extraordinary height. He quickly became a beloved public figure, known for his friendliness and polite demeanor. That's the result of good parenting. Robert's appearances were highly publicized, and he became a popular attraction at events, parades, and exhibitions. Despite his fame, he remained humble, never seeking attention for the sake of notoriety. Instead, he used his platform to raise awareness about his condition and to inspire others to persevere through their own challenges. The following was written about him on March 8, 1937. As the Bible points out, there were giants in those days, but even Goliath's mythical height may be exceeded by Robert Wadlow of Alton, Illinois. Weeks ago, a towering young giant at Alton, Illinois turned 19. He tops 8 feet 6 inches today and is gaining about 3 inches a year. By the time Robert reaches 20, he may well be the largest man to walk the earth. As for Robert Pershing Wadlow, he's quite unwilling to discuss his tallness or troubles with anyone. He's depicted as essentially a shy giant, self-effacing and self-contained. He walks erect, in size 39 shoes, scrapes the ceilings of his Alton home, sleeps in a 9-foot bed, and regularly puts away a dozen eggs for breakfast. When Robert was born to the Harold Wadlows of Alton on Washington's birthday in 1918, there was no hint that this lusty youngster would become an extraordinary fellow. He weighed 8.5 pounds but began to grow rapidly. At 6 months, he weighed 30 pounds. In first grade at the age of 6, Robert was already in long pants. At 9, he was taller than his father, who was an engineer. At 11, Robert Wadlow was a massive 6 feet 7 inches. Early in his teens, complications began for Robert. Mentally alert and emotionally stable as any other boy, Robert was hard put for activities. For a time, he starred on the Alton High School basketball team. Then he outgrew normal competition. He took to rowing and boating for a time, until he sunk one riverboat by venturing inside. His hobby today is photography. He dwarfs the 4 other children in his family, cannot comfortably ride in any known make of car, and must have all of his clothes specially constructed. For a giant, Robert Wadlow is pretty well proportioned, which is not customary in such circumstances. He carries his 435 pounds comfortably, with his 8 feet 6 inch height. Robert's chief difficulty centers in his feet, which are almost immune to sensation. There have been giants before in history, but none whose medical record has been so minutely scrutinized as that of Robert Wadlow. Robert doesn't want to be considered a phenomenon. He frequently says, quote, "It's not my fault that I'm this way. I didn't have anything to do with my getting that way," end quote. He's now a freshman at Shurtleff College in Alton and hopes to hide his huge bulk someday in a law office. So that's kind of sad. Obviously, he thought that he was going to live a long time and have a career as an attorney, but sadly that did not happen. You see, Robert's health continued to deteriorate as he aged. The strain on his body from his rapid growth took a toll, and he began to experience increasing difficulty with mobility. In 1940, during a professional appearance in Michigan, a faulty leg brace caused a blister and subsequent infection in his ankle. Despite medical intervention, the infection worsened, and on July 15, 1940, Robert Wadlow passed away at the young age of 22. His death was a tremendous loss to his family, friends, and the many people who had been touched by his story. Over 30,000 people attended his funeral in Alton, and Robert was laid to rest in a custom-made 10-foot-long casket. His family had the casket sealed in concrete to prevent anyone from disturbing his final resting place. Robert Wadlow's legacy endures as a testament to human resilience and kindness. The people of Alton, Illinois remain proud of their gentle giant, and a life-size bronze statue of Robert was erected in his honor in 1986 at the Southern Illinois University School of Dental Medicine campus. The statue stands as a tribute to Robert's remarkable life and the impact he made on the world. Robert Wadlow's story is often remembered not just because of his incredible height, but because of the way he carried himself with dignity, humility, and a gentle spirit. He never let his condition define him, and continued to inspire others with his determination and kindness. His life serves as a reminder that true greatness is measured not in physical stature, but in character and the positive influence one has on the lives of others. Robert Wadlow remains an iconic figure in history as the tallest man who ever lived, but his legacy goes beyond his extraordinary height. He symbolizes the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Despite the many challenges he faced, Robert lived his life with grace and kindness, touching the hearts of everyone who met him. His story continues to inspire people around the world, reminding us that no matter the obstacles we encounter, we have the power to rise above them with courage and compassion. So, what do you think of the story of Robert Wadlow? Who is the tallest person you've ever met? If you were as tall as him back then or even today, how well do you think you could handle it? Do you think you could handle it as well as he did? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Kindly remember to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell because there will be more shows like this one, and I hope you check those out too. Please check out the links below to learn how to support my research and productions. This channel is sponsored by campfireshop.com, where you could order the highest quality and exclusive candles, herbal supplements, teas, and more. I'd also appreciate it if you could become a member of this channel and or join me on Patreon, where you can watch exclusive videos of cool places that I've been to. You could also leave a super thanks in the comments below. Kindly be kind to all of our fellow Earthlings and please do not harm them. They do not like that. And please do yourself a favor and go to a local shelter and adopt a cat or a dog or both. You and they will be very glad that you did. Until next time, I wish you safe travels on all your journeys.